The first is this, the flogging of a teenage girl. In the eyes of the Taliban, this 17-year-old girl had broken Talib law. It is not clear why she's being flogged, but the girl's family have said that she had committed no crime, but had been punished because she refused a forced marriage with a Talib soldier. Whatever the truth, her screams are real enough. The second outrage is a series of beheadings by the Taliban of army prisoners, sequences so horrific that we can't show them. The Taliban hate Sufism, an ancient brand of mystic Islam. The third horror is what happened to one Sufi holy man who stood up to the Taliban for months. Faced with a standoff, the Taliban suggested talks in a mosque. The story is told by a follower of Pir Samiullah, who dare not show his face. If the Taliban find him, they'll kill him.
And killed
the guerrillas of the Taliban closed the doors of the mosque and picked 7 village elders and cut their throats. They screamed. It was so horrible.
Hundreds of Talib fighters came for the holy man and his most loyal followers and killed him. The next day, the Taliban dug up his corpse, strung him up, and executed his supporters. We cannot begin to show the whole sequence of what the Taliban did, but Pakistani TV can and did. All 3 outrages played out on Pakistani TV shocked the whole country. The Taliban had enjoyed some popular support before, but not anymore.
I mean, they are such a disgrace to humanity, to Islam, to Pakistan. We were too lenient with them. We allowed them to grow and continue to get strong, and I think we are paying a very heavy price for that.
Here, mainstream mullahs and imams take to the streets, declaring that the Taliban are not Islamic. Mullah Fazl Karim took part in the demo.
The Taliban are against the principles of Islam. Our Prophet strictly forbade the sowing of dissent and creating of chaos or lawlessness in the country.
He's a brave man. One cleric, a friend of his, who spoke out against the Taliban, was murdered 2 weeks ago. The Battle of Swat has led to one of the world's fastest growing refugee crises. More than 1 million people displaced in a month. In the heat of the Pakistani summer, which gets up to more than 40 degrees centigrade, 110 degrees Fahrenheit, people will die in the open. It's worse for the people from Swat, used to a cooler mountain climate. Some are fair, like this little girl. I asked some children from Mingora what they wanted to do when they grew up.
Policeman.
A doctor?
Yeah.
Teacher? A pilot? Let's learn English playgroup.
Butterfly.
B for?
B-U-T-T-E-R-F-L-Y, butterfly.
Acha.
F-L-O-W-E-R, flower. I want education.
She won't get any under the Taliban.
G-A-T-E.
A girls' school in Mingora.
O-R-A-N-G-E. Orange.
One of 170 girls' schools destroyed by the Taliban.
Snake, S-N-A-K-E.
And Z for?
Zebra.
Well done! Everybody clap. Hey. An ordinary life goes on. At this shrine, Sikh refugees from Swat are housed in rooms where pilgrims normally stay. Visiting the refugees are the family of the Wali of Swat, the ancestral lords of the valley. They're Muslim, the refugees here are Sikh, but everyone is homesick for the valley.
Such a peaceful place, where all of us coexisted so happily. And now we can't go there, we have no news of our homes. Our mobile phones don't work, our landlines don't work, we can't go there. It's a terrible feeling not to be able to go home.
we are all here because everybody is fearing for their lives.
Are you afraid of the Taliban?
I would be lying if I say no. Yes, because 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, a very young 41-year-old first cousin of mine was mercilessly assassinated by them. So I've been a victim of their violence.
As in all wars, ordinary people get caught in the middle. Red-hot shrapnel, fired by the army, can't tell the difference between a Talib and a farmer in his fields. 2 widows, both victims of the Battle of Swat Valley.
He was fired at by a plane and there were bullet holes in his neck. We suffered because of the army. They didn't warn us to leave our homes. Suddenly the shooting started and houses were hit by mortar shells. Many died that day.
And this woman's husband, a soldier, was blown up by a Talib suicide bomber 3 months ago, along with 25 other soldiers.
The army are also Muslims. Was my husband not a believer? He was a Muslim. I am grieving because of the Taliban.
The war has caused the Taliban to reply with their weapon of choice. Another night, another suicide bomb, this time in Islamabad. What happened was the suicide bomber came along, he was challenged by the cops, they fired at him, he pulled his trigger, boom. 3 men died. The Taliban play on everyone's fear of suicide bombs in their horror videos. Here is a Talib baking the ingredients for a suicide bomb. And now the bomb is packed in this van. This young Talib is the delivery boy. He's been told he's going to paradise. He blew up Charbar police station, killing 7. This is how a medieval ideology can take on a 21st century army. But now mullahs are speaking out against suicide bombers.
In my opinion, they are neither Muslims nor human beings. 6 months ago, we issued a fatwa that in Pakistan, suicide attacks are forbidden under Sharia law.
Why has it taken so long, people like you, religious leaders in Pakistan, to stand up and say openly the Taliban are utterly wrong?
We tried to engage them through dialogue and negotiation and asked them to stop their terrorist activities. However, they have gone beyond all limits and they are trying to disgrace Islam.
Back in Swat, I'm shown the aftermath of a suicide bomb attack at an army post in Kwazakela, across the river from Mata. On the other side of the road is a mosque and a water tap where children from the village queue up to fill their buckets.
A Land Cruiser came from the other side and the sentry told him to get aside because it's curfew time and go back.
Yes.
He, rather than switching off or going back, he accelerated and bypassed the sentry and dashed this side.
Yes.
The kids were taking water from this place. You see that water pump?
Yes.
The kid was working?
Yes.
There were 3-4 kids, they died there.
This isn't just a battle of bullets and bombs and guns. It's also about the heart and soul of Islam. Now, the Taliban say that their version of Islam is the true one, the pure one. Well, this is a mosque, and it was destroyed by a suicide bomb, and 6 kids were killed. And people here say that has got absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with Islam. At Kwazakela, the army has a prize captive. He's just 15 years old. So what happened to you?
At morning 8 o'clock, I was going to school and listening music on mobile, and the 3 Taliban were come and catch me. And
he said he'd been listening to Bollywood film music, and that's enough to get arrested by the Taliban.
He said to me that you bomber, self-bomber.
He wanted you to become a suicide bomber?
Yes, sir.
And you said...
I love with life, and I...
He told me that when the army bombed the Taliban, he ran away and made it to the army's protection. He dare not go back to his family.
I ran away from it.
So all necessary precaution has been taken. People stay on in their home. It is good enough. They'll not get killed.